Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I am Dylan.
And I'm Vinny.
And valuation investors are going to hate this video. We're going to look at how high Nvidia could possibly go, looking at historical trends. And honestly, it's very, very surprising. So strap in because it's very high. Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. So if you want money, just buy Nvidia. Seems crazy.
Leap options. That's the ticket.
That sounds worse. It does not.
Yeah, it does.
So one thing I just want to look at real quick is fads, right? If you can predict the next fad, you do not have to know anything about the company. And I'm going to show you proof. Doesn't matter. Numbers do not matter if you can predict the next fad, all right? And I just want to point out how this generation is completely different than any trading generation ever. We've talked about it. 10% of all trades are from retail investors. We can now throw money around the crazy ease of access. I've said it a million times. Here's Michael Burry, June 15, 2021. Biggest bubble of all time by 2 orders of magnitude. That's a crazy statement.
You know, it's 2 years, like to the day, basically, of when he made this tweet. And we have yet to see the collapse by even a single order of magnitude. Never mind 2 orders of magnitude.
Yeah, and now Burry, completely wrong. Going back to the 1920s, there's never been a buy the dip generation like you. Congrats. All right. What does it have to do with Nvidia? Right now, one, we can call him the short king, was wrong. All right.
Okay.
Now, what is a bubble? All right. Are you familiar with an ABCD pattern?
Yes. I've indeed seen an ABCD pattern before.
A bubble, it's just human psychology, right? There's a saying called "stability causes instability." Are you familiar with that? The more stable things go, the more safe things are. The more we see this with banks all the time, as they're just dicks. They're like, well, let me just leverage a little bit more. Well, let me just go a little bit more. Then they get some gains. They're like, well, what if I do like Wall Street bet status? And then it just gets crazier, right? An ABCD pattern, it's never this perfect, full disclosure, but it's seen in all time frames. Minute, 5 minute, hour, week, year. It's the same thing. It goes up a bunch, corrects a little bit, goes up a bunch. Okay? Now, when you have a fad, there is the ones that deserve to be higher, all right? Other companies that are just kind of associated with it. Like, I try to do like boats on a rising tide. And as soon as that tide goes away, they're screwed. And then just bad actors. So I'll show you one, all right? But Nvidia is easy because it's clearly a people's choice. In terms of AI, it is necessary. I'm not saying the value is fair or logical, but the company is necessary. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would completely agree. Fair enough. I don't know if you saw, it was a headline this week about a company in the AI space with no real product that had a valuation in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So compared to them, Nvidia is actually undervalued.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great example. Man, I should have put them in here. So here's Nvidia's weekly chart going back from 2017 to now. Okay, chilling around $20. That $20 goes up to 426, and we really don't seem to be stopping. Like, we're just, I should have put the volume in here. It's a big volume bar. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right? Now, as people short, like idiots for Nvidia, you can't ever, even if it's illogical, you cannot short a stock that's like this. It's just a bad idea. It just causes more buying. Okay? I want to look at something real quick. Just as a brief little recap. EVs. That was the previous fad.
It was a big trend, yeah.
Okay. So who's the biggest EVs to you?
Tesla.
Tesla. Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe Rivian.
Rivian? Ugh. I was going to go Neo. I feel like
Neo.
Right? Plug. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah. Their electric charging infrastructure is my understanding.
Pretty much. They were literally did not have the ability to make more product. They were just like completely capped out. Didn't matter. They went from $10 to $70. This is the rising tides example, back to $10. It at no point deserved to be that high, right? But it went that high. Neo, same thing. They did not have the fundamental. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Fundamentals of Tesla, in terms. I'm not saying that they have good fundamentals. Hold on. I'm comparing terrible to really bad. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So just bear with me.
Yeah,
But you could easily say that in the EV fad, Tesla was the number one, right?
the
The
king of the EV
Nvidia,
fad.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
They held on to a vast majority of their gains. They went from $20 chilling at 250, about the same time frame. Right?
Yeah, yeah, they haven't collapsed, despite my fact that I've been repeatedly calling for it to happen. It has not happened.
Yeah. Now that could be different. More and more people are making electric cars, and turns out we don't have enough cadmium, whatever.
Yeah.
So here is Mara. This is a Bitcoin stock. Now, the amount of bad actors in crypto are hilarious. It's just there's so many scams. But this is a company that was legitimate, trying to make money mining, right? Didn't work, obviously. It was a rising tide. And here's Kodak, who just said the word blockchain for a week, went from 5 to 60, back down.
That's a hell of a wick on that candle, man.
It is. I was trying to think of other fads, and biotechnology was a huge one, like 2010, 2013.
Yeah,
You can, yeah, Amgen, which was a big biotech stock, right? This would have been the Nvidia or close to it around that time. Continuously goes up. I didn't put any other biotech examples in here because the graphs were all just like, whoa. Like it's just the same thing. They're all dead. Do you remember any of those?
So Amgen, they have a research facility probably 30 minutes from my house. So
Okay.
I'm actually kind of familiar with them. I've met people that worked there before.
Right. Perfect. So the message I'm trying to get across is fads are not going anywhere. It's a human psychology thing. People are going to be pumped about it. In addition, not every fad is equal, right?
Okay.
People were stoked about electric cars, but not a lot of people saw electric cars coming a decade before. Maybe a couple of years before, but a decade before. We've been talking about AI for 15 years. And now it's here. It's actually happening. It's not general AI at all. It's narrow, but whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But the amount of people that are so stoked about this, that just see the word AI, they're into it. They are absolutely into it. And there's money backing it because more and more chips have to be made. This is a artificial intelligence market size worldwide, going 10 years. That's a disgusting increase.
That is. It's a very sexy CAGR right there that we're anticipating over the next decade, basically, in AI. I agree.
And you have one company that makes like 80% of all the chips used.
I know. And, AMD is taking some shots at them, but not there yet. And Intel even is taking some shots at them. And Intel can barely tie their own shoes at this point in time. But confessions of a former Intel shareholder here. But yeah, they still have a pretty significant moat. I will certainly give NVIDIA credit for that.
Now, before I show you this next slide, this is the best part. What do you think their current PE is, NVIDIA?
It's over 200 last I saw.
Okay. Do you think that's too much?
They're priced for absolutely blow the doors off growth.
Okay.
So the question to me is can they actually achieve that? They're priced for perfection right now, so all it takes is one stumble for them to come crashing down as far as a valuation metric like that. But it may be too high, it may be too low. It's hard to know. You really have to have an idea of what the earnings is going to be in the 10 years, say, to get a good number.
Do you give any weight to forward PE?
Yeah, it's worth looking at. I know the forward PE is like in the 50-ish ballpark on them last I saw.
It's definitely a lot more reasonable.
It is much more reasonable, especially a company that has tremendous growth potential. I will give them that.
I'm going to show you 3 PE/forward PEs. Okay. Here they are. So top one, 221. The forward PE 12 months is 41. Then we have almost 500 going to 29. And then we have 76 going to 53. Which company would you rather own?
Out of those, I would say the one that's going to be 41, maybe. That's probably the most in the realm, I would say.
I would agree because the even though the forward P the 29, you have to. I mean, that's like 500. That's insane. You got to be really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have to look at that growth metrics to see if they actually have a reasonable chance of hitting that, because that seems a little aggressive.
There we go.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Out of those three companies.
Now, I put Tesla in here for one very specific reason. They are still killing it from their fad. The numbers
Uh-huh.
don't matter. I don't think anyone can make a reasonable valuation be like, yeah, no, they should be this much. It doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense. But we're wrong to say that they shouldn't be. Like everyone keeps on saying, "We'll wait 5 years." Well, they said that in 2018. So what? I didn't invest in Tesla. I would agree with the valuation people, but we're wrong. We're not
Yeah.
right.
Wait 5 more.
Wait, sure, and we could wait 5 more, and it could be higher. It doesn't have to make sense, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, all the money that's been printed, it's crazy. Anyways, I think it is possible that Nvidia could hit 2 trillion. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying it's logical or deserved. But we live in a world where that's possible.
It's definitely possible. I I personally still wouldn't directly expose myself to Nvidia individual share ownership. I mean, obviously, I'm a index. I have a lot of index fund is where my retirement investment goes, and through S&P 500 index funds, you're getting a chunk of
Yeah.
Nvidia. You're getting even more and more Nvidia every month as the market
Yeah, I
cap
know. It's
rises.
crazy. It doesn't make any
So
sense.
becoming more and more overweight in Nvidia stock without even me trying. That's the scary part.
Yeah. Once again, I'm not saying I
Sneaking up on
agree
you.
with their price. I need to emphasize that. But I mean, guys, it's possible. It's a fad that's not going away, and it's a necessary company. It's a leader in market share of the entire fad. You cannot use logic to judge a company's valuation when you have those other variables at play.
Fair
It's
enough.
crazy.
And they're with it's got fat margins on their products, and they have a really wide moat as far as like their development.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before AMD or God, maybe even Intel can even come close, right? Like, I
0%.
mean, that's the scary part. So it's going to be, obviously Amazon and Apple and all these companies will move some of this stuff in house, but it's going to take them a long time to even become this close to competitive. Never
Yeah.
mind, what the valuations would be like at that point.
All right. Let us know what you guys think. Have a good one.
Okay, so next one.